The views on a Breath of Fresh Air podcast reflects the parties involved, and we encourage you all to use it as a conversational tool that will lead to personal studies of your own.
Hallelujah. 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 Hallelujah.
Welcome to a Breath of Fresh Air podcast. Here with your hosts, Earl Roberts and Nakhaz Gay. As a young person, Christianity can be so foggy, like smoke in the mirrors and so unclear. But we're here to bring you a breath of fresh air.
Document my last words as King of Israel. Mark my words. The rock of God spoke to me. He that ruleth over men must be just, ruling in the fear of God. And he shall be as the light of the morning when the sun rises, a morning without clouds, like the tender grass springing out of the earth, by clear shining after rain. Although my house be not so with God, yet he hath made with me an everlasting covenant, ordered in all things, and sure. For this is all my salvation, and all my desire. Will he not make it increase? But the sons of rebellion shall all be as thorns thrust away, because they cannot be taken with hands. But the man who touches them must be armed with iron and the shaft of a spear, and they shall be utterly burned with fire in their place.
David is a king that is now entering his old age. In 2 Samuel chapters 22 and 23, we see some of David's last words as he reflects over his life. We also learn the names of the mighty men who have supported him throughout his reign. As always, be blessed and enjoy. All right, welcome back to another episode of a Breath of Fresh Air podcast.
My name is Nakhaz Gay.
My name is Earl Roberts. Hopefully, we're both on the screen when this records and is video edited. Shout out to our friend Lorenzo Carey. You know, he brought it to our attention that, hey, guys, when you guys record on the other format, you guys both are on the screen at the same time. It's kind of distracting.
Yeah, shout out to Rennie.
I was like, well, you know, it's kind of interesting that you bring that up because when we record it, we both can see each other.
Yeah, true.
So, yeah, appreciate that. Hopefully everyone had a great week. I had a very, very stressful Friday. So I'm happy to have some Sabbath rest right now, be able to relax your mind and just appreciate God's goodness, man. We go back to this story of creation, and it's like, in God's infinite wisdom, he knew that man needed a day to rest, a day to just let your brain unwind a little bit, a break from all the struggle, all the, man, like, bro, it cringes my skin to think if we just had all work nonstop, bro. I mean, like, some people do that, like, no disrespect or shade to them or anything like that, but I'm just happy that there's like a day worldwide, essentially, that, most businesses, well, office buildings and stuff are closed on Saturday, and you don't really got to worry about like stressing out too much. But
I saw something, and I'm just trying to, I'm trying to pull it up. I'm so mad I didn't save that because the post said something along the lines of the Sabbath is essential because God understood. I don't know, man. The Sabbath is essential because it helps us against the idol of productivity. Something like that, bro. And I was just like, man, you know what? That's so true because there's always something to accomplish. There's always a higher height to go to. And if left unchecked, we will always be chasing that height or chasing that accomplishment. You know what I'm saying? Just as human beings.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was telling someone the other day, bro, like, I never really have free time, you know. Like I could reprioritize some things, you know. So if you want to,
I understand that fully,
relate,
bro.
right? Yeah, because I'm like, honestly, even if I'm sitting down watching TV, I'm thinking, you know, you could be making a beat right now, you know, you could be editing something, you know, you could be making your tomorrow's work on your 9 to 5 easier for you. You know what I'm saying? It's always something to be done. You and I are homeowners, thank God, and in a house, there's always stuff to do. You know what I'm saying? Even when we was in the apartments, there's always stuff to do. Wash the dishes, you know what I'm saying? Do your chores, like all type of stuff.
See, for people who's cut their grass, cut the grass.
Cut the grass. Nah, that's crazy. That's a whole different beast.
But I had to cut my grass during lunch one day this week. I was like, man, this grass really getting out of hand. And during the weekends right now, I mostly like was on Sundays, I mostly like just studying and then also trying to get stuff ready for the week. So I had no time. Sunday gone. And it happened to me 2 Sundays. And you know, boy, thank God the rain don't rain as much right now.
Yeah, that's true. And think about studying, bro. You could put 10 hours in, but until you know everything or until you're comfortable enough, like there's always more to achieve. There's always more, you know? And it's tempting to sacrifice your health, sacrifice your rest, you know what I'm saying? Just to give yourself an advantage or to ease the load for the upcoming weeks. And by the grace of God, God told us that, hey, I gotta put something in place that is a command for you to get some rest. Take some time. You know what I'm saying? Unplug. Right, relax, loosen up. You know? Excuse me, because productivity could be an idol. I was thinking about sports, bro. Sports come around and, you know, joining these fantasy leagues.
My God.
When the Sabbath comes around, bro, I am so distracted because I can only think like, what is my team doing on Friday night? Did you have the lead? You know what I'm saying? Is there anything I can do as a general manager? You know, and last week was really hard for me because that was week 1. And I realized that this had become an idol, bro. This taking up too much of my time because even on Sabbath, I can't stop thinking about this. I gotta chill out. You know what I'm saying? And so you realize how just the day-to-day stuff that occupies your 6 days thou shalt labor and do all thy work. These things really impact us more than we know. And on the 7th day, if we cannot let go of these things, we could, if we cannot let go of these things and just rest on the Sabbath, we now realize how important these things truly are to us.
Exactly.
But is it more important than obedience to God? You know, that's what we have to consider when thinking about the Sabbath, the 7-day Sabbath.
Yeah, man. Like you said it beautifully. Like it's super hard to unplug, but it's definitely needed. It's definitely needed. Like even this week, man, I started to like upcoming. I probably gone delete Instagram for like a while, but yeah, man, it's needed. It's definitely needed.
Yeah, definitely. And ladies and gentlemen, forgive me. I am struggling with the COVID cough. I got a dry cough that is unquenchable. Like it's like I'm just doing it just to do it, and nothing is improving right now. So
I hate that. I hate that.
Yeah, just bear with me.
Yeah, man. God got you. God got you. So this week we are in 2 Samuel. I think we could finish Samuel this week.
Yeah, it's only about these last.
This is about 3 chapters.
3, yeah.
Chapter 22, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna give an overview. I should probably talk about 2 different sections, but for this, in Earl's interpretation, chapter 22 is a psalm that didn't make it in the book of Psalms.
For sure.
It's very psalm-esque. So
and some of the things in here we have seen in Psalms, like some of the sentiments that have been said in this text, you can find in Psalm for sure.
Yeah, like I know you had a part that stood out to you. I'll let you talk about that first, and I guess I'll say mine afterwards. Or I could go first, and I think mine's actually further up in the.
Yeah, go for it.
So from 17 to 20, he said from above, he took me, he drew me out of the many waters. He delivered me from my strong enemy, from those who hated me, for they were too strong for me. They confronted me in the day of my calamity, but the Lord was my support. He also brought me up out of a broad place. He delivered me because he delighted in me. Let's be honest though, in a bubble, that sounds like I just read that from Psalms. Like yes. You could tell me, someone could tell me that came from Psalms 113, verse 5, and I'd be like,
I wouldn't question it.
But I would not question it at all.
I wouldn't question that.
I wouldn't say that come from 1st, 2nd Samuel. But for me, like, again, it kind of reminds me of one of my other favorite verses, but it just shows that, God was really with him. Like it, and just getting down to the end of David's reign. Now we saw in last episode how he was an old man who some of his younger people in his army were like, hey, you're getting old.
Yeah.
You're a liability to us out here. We kind of need you to go back in the city where you protect it. Let us handle this out there. And we also saw like how right after that, like about 3 people in his army went out to kill giants. Was it 3 or 4? I think
it was a few.
Yeah.
I think it was actually 4. It was 4 brothers. It was 4 brothers excluding Goliath. So yeah, it was about 4.
And so now we're seeing this really a reflection of David's. Now, when you think about it, he had a lot of these Psalms already in it. He already get a lot of these out.
Oh, yeah.
So this might have even been one of the last ones he really was just, let me just put the bow on this.
This is the summary of it now. You see what I said?
Exactly.
He don't give you all type of Psalms when he was in various different parts of his life, different styles. And so all of that knowledge, it's the same God you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why we can see, like, for instance, verse 2, excuse me, when it says, the Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer, the God of my strength, in whom I will trust, my shield and my horn of salvation. These are things these are sentiments you hear all the time in Psalms, like even Psalms 91, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. You know what I'm saying? Like looking at God as a fortress, God as a protection, as a protector. These are, I'm so sorry, but these are similar sentiments we can see David portraying here. I don't know if you were finished with your
essentially I was, but like it was just me saying in a nutshell that it just shows that God is always with us. Like God pulled him out of the waters. God delivered him from his enemies, from those who hated him, from those who were too strong for him. So you see, naturally, they were saying, I could not do what I wanted. I could not conquer my giants by myself. You were the one who were with me. When my enemies go for it.
I want you to keep a pin on that verse. Like continue your thing, but I just want you to remember that verse because I want to speak to that point later in another chapter.
All right. Yeah. And so like when they confronted him on his day of calamity, but God was his support. God brought him out of the broad place, and it was because God delighted in him. And so, we know David was on this roller coaster, ups and downs, but we see like and we've seen it as we went through his life story. When he was at his lowest points, he remembered that, I need to go back to God if all else fails. And overall, it kind of worked out for him.
Yeah, it definitely worked out. So the verse that stood out to me is verse 26 of the 22nd chapter. But I'm going to read from 23. It says, for all his judgments were before me, and as for his statutes, I did not depart from them. So we see he's identifying obedience. I was blameless before him, and I kept myself from iniquity. Therefore, the Lord has recompensed me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanness in his eyes. Verse 26. With the merciful, you show yourself merciful. With a blameless mind, you will show yourself blameless. With the pure, you will show yourself pure. And with the devious, you will show yourself shrewd. This is interesting to me, and it stands out because the Bible is full of affirmations.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times I'm quite a bit of a pessimist because you look in the Bible, you see good people suffer. You see Job, we see the apostles, we see Jesus, we see where Joseph, we see where people who apparently did not do anything to deserve these things. We see John the Baptist, like people who didn't appear to deserve the fate that they got, went through trials and tribulations, went through hot water. John the Baptist was decapitated. Now that's a different story because we understand in prophecy and in the New Testament, those who live blameless lives for Christ Jesus will suffer persecution. Something like that. Mm-hmm. All those who live for Christ will suffer persecution. That's the writings of Paul, and it speaks to the time that they were in when Christianity was so new and was so hated by the Romans and the Roman Empire at the time. But I think about just bad stuff happening to good people, bro. I really think about that all the time. And I'm just like, sometimes I'm afraid to live my life in a certain way or to experience certain things because I'm like, man, you never know, bro. This bad thing might happen to me if I try to do this or try to do that. That might just be God's will, But no, God, David is saying, bro, I will be merciful to you. If you are a merciful person, God will be merciful to you. You understand what I'm saying? If you are pure, with the pure, you will show you. Excuse me. With the pure, you will show yourself pure. Mm-hmm. Understand what I'm saying? And it's like God is abounding in love and abounding in gifts and just goodness He can bestow upon us. But a lot of times we come in our own way, and then we forget. We might do stuff in our hearts, do stuff towards our neighbor. And then we forget, turn around and say, oh, woe is me. Oh, why this happened? You know what I'm saying? Like, mm-hmm. But if we believe in the Bible, of course, there are nuances everywhere. In every scenario is different and there's some nuance. But if we believe in the Bible, I should be able to stand firm in the idea that if I am merciful, if I am blameless before Him, He will be pure towards me. He will be merciful towards me. And so this is just like, when I read this is encouraging to know. And it should be self-explanatory, but, it's just really enlightening for me to actually see these words written out loud by a fellow sinner. You know what I'm saying? Like,
So there's one more thing I want to point with that same like passage you read, right? So I just was on a little mini search. It's because, I know we talked about it like pre-pod too, but the part that got me was like, with the pure, you show yourself pure. And in the New King James says, but with the devious, you show yourself shrewd, right? And to me, I found it so interesting too, because it was like kind of like almost like you saw the parallel the author was trying to go for, like, okay, you're pure. God treats you pure. If you're merciful, God treats you merciful. But now it's like when you got to devious, that's not a character trait of God. So now you can't say God repaid evil with evil because God is not evil. So God obviously can't do that. So I went to go back and I was like, okay, so what word was like really used there, like in the Greek or Hebrew, and try to like figure that part out, right? And so like the root word is, whoa.
I can't pronounce Hebrew words for it. Like,
it's like pathol.
Okay.
Pathol, and it means to twist, to be twisted, to wrestle. So it almost says like God will almost wrestle or struggle. You have like a moral struggle.
Mm.
And to me, it's kind of interesting too. So it's like now, like you're trying to be a shrewd operator. You're trying to be devious, but you have God almost outwitting you in your devious behavior.
Mm.
And I think of like Joseph's brothers, what you guys meant for evil, God turned out to be good. Mm-hmm. So it's like it's just interesting because we see God does that a lot. And it's kind of interesting, like how that works. So you're like, okay, God, this bad thing was supposed to happen to this person, but it ended up being flipped B and ended up being a good thing and ended up being a blessing. Like, how does that work? And we kind of see that in David's kind of reflecting that here, like, okay, God kind of wits people in their evil doing. So it's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah. When you are, what's the word? When you are devious, it's gonna be you're gonna be met with some tension from God. You know what I'm saying? Like everything ain't just gonna go as planned. You know, like God ain't gonna be a co-conspirator, and he ain't gonna be devious towards you. You know.
And then if you look at it too, like think about like one of the first people we knew who was like really and truly like a real devious one.
Are we talking about Cain? Oh, okay.
That man was a trickster, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because Cain wasn't really devious, I wouldn't say.
He was just a little evil.
Yeah. But anyway, I ain't gonna go on that tangent right now. I wasn't defending him, by the way.
No, I know.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, but David, Jacob, the supplanter.
McGrabby.
Right. And then guess what? You're right, because his life was full of tension.
Full of it.
Yeah, bro. Like it wasn't smooth. Like he ain't on a smooth ride at all. And then guess what? Guess who was being devious? Guess who was being devious in the book of 2 Samuel? A few people, but David. You understand what I'm saying? It's who I'm talking about this time around, you know? Mm-hmm. And then, you know, we ever hit the fail, people like that. David was met with a lot of tension. You know, David's sins came back to bite him, right? But the sins of his children was coming to bite him. You understand what I'm saying? So the sins that he committed, it left God was not as merciful to him because he wasn't as merciful, right? And then because God's layer hedge of protection isn't on your family, they could be given over to their natural desires. But now their natural desires still hurt you. You understand what I'm saying? You being affected by the actions of others, you know? And if we finish the chapter tonight, we're going to see how your actions, bro, we go through this all the time, but we can just see like, that's just how it is. That's the responsibility that we all have as believers. Mm-hmm. We have a responsibility to ourselves, but also to the people around us, because the things we do can and will affect others, you know? But, you know, to kind of summarize this, we can see where David was on both sides of that, where he was merciful and blameless. And then when he was devious and shrewd, you know?
Yeah, he had a full circle. And, you know, I just was thinking, I was like, oh, we already spend more time on 2020 than I thought we would have spent.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Funny how God has a way of making that work. So let's see. Who knows? We might leave chapter 24 to be its own, but we'll see how far we get. Yeah. So reading from chapter 23. Now these are the last words of David. Thus said David, the son of Jesse. Thus says the man raised on high, the anointed of God of Jacob, the sweet psalmist of Israel. Okay. No, don't toot your own horn.
Horn or nothing, but you know.
No one write the psalms as sweet as me.
Right.
The Spirit of the Lord spoke by me, and his word was on my tongue. The God of Israel said, the Rock of Israel spoke to me. He who rules over men must be just. Ruling in the fear of God, and he shall be like the light of the morning when the sun rises, a morning without clouds, like the tender grass springing out of the earth, be by clear shining after rain. Although my house is not so with God, yet he has made with me an everlasting covenant, ordered in all things and secure. For this is all my salvation and all my desire. Will he not make it increase? But the sons of rebellion shall be thorns thrust away, because they cannot be taken with hands. But the man who touches them must be armed with iron, and a shaft of iron and the shaft of a spear, and they shall be utterly burned with fire in their place. So, anything you got to say to that?
Man, not really. This David showing himself to be somewhat a wordsmith. You know what I'm saying? Like David had a lot of time to write in his lifetime, you know, and he didn't shy away from doing that, especially in the midst of his trials and his tribulations. But now he's just leaving some, some words. It's almost like Moses wasn't as poetic. Moses was just straightforward, like choose life or death. You know what I mean? Like, you feel me?
At the end of Moses' life, but Moses ain't had the time to slap up, right? It's done because of y'all. I can't get into the promised land too.
Mm-hmm. I just tell it because Moses did write a psalm or two. You can find psalms in the Bible that were written by Moses, but Moses ain't had time to do all that.
Too much stress.
Too much stress. But David chose a more poetic way to say how good God is. You know what I'm saying? And to show like the reward of the wicked,
Definitely. I like how we said, although my house ain't right,
mm-hmm.
It's not so with God. Like, he ain't even trying to like lie or not.
Mm-hmm.
My reign was not perfect. I have made mistakes.
Mm.
I wasn't completely just in some cases. I was completely fair in some cases. Like, my reign did definitely fall short of being perfect. But you know what I'm saying? God still allowed me through his grace and mercy to have this covenant, this everlasting covenant with me. So like, I'm blessed because of that.
Bro, what I'm learning as I'm concluding my 20s, bro, the last like 2 or 3 years, it's really hitting me that it's better to do things the right way one time versus doing things the shortcut way. You understand? Even if that benefits you in the short run, it is so risky. The outcome of that could be so risky. Is like you buy a car, right? Unless you savvy with cars, bro, it's better to buy the car that running and driving don't got no problem right now, bro. You buy a fixer-upper, you fix that, right? You can fix that car, bro. But new problems can arise as happens with every car.
Yep.
Now you just spend so much time fixing that last problem. When this go bad, now that's a chore. Whereas if you had buy the car with everything working, if the same thing I went bad, you'd be like, all right, this is the only thing I gotta fix, and now I can move on.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? In my personal life, I'm realizing, bro, it's better to do things. It's better to take the high road one time, bro, because you don't want to regret not taking it. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about David, how much times David have to reflect on how off things are with him and God. But it's like, bro, no cap, no lie. If you had just done things the right way one time, you would have spared yourself years of heartache, years of undoing everything that you just did. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because obviously you don't know the outcome of things beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure if we know the outcome, we wouldn't do some of the things we do. But we don't have the luxury of being all-knowing like God. You understand? Mm-hmm. So because of that, it is wise for us, to take the high road every time. You know what I'm saying? We could do something devious. We could do something that's not really that acceptable. We can sin, especially when we're making conscious decisions to do these things. But let's think about how hard it becomes to get out of our mess when we're already in it. Like our parents always tell us, trouble, easy to get in, hard to get out. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so if we are wise, like let's take religion aside. The wise man chooses not to get into problems one time, no matter how much of a benefit it can be if you get away with it. The wise person says, bro, I ain't bothering with that. I ain't getting in that. You understand what I'm saying? Because that could be too much problems trying to get out of, and that's something that's really hitting me that I'm learning through experience in life. It's better bro, just take the high road, bro. If you can, do things the right way one time, bro. Don't take the shortcut solution. You feel me?
That's a fact, man. You just saved yourself a lot of heartache and pain. And then I just hate doing things. I just hate going back over things that I know I could have just, if I had done this properly, I waste time doing it the first time now. Right. And now I'm mad at myself because I got to do it again because thought I would have saved myself time the first time. So now I spend about 3 times the time on this one thing.
Yes. And that also goes with finances too, like not even finances, like the way you buy. You can buy, and we used to learn this in school. I can't remember what it's called, but You can buy a pair of boots for $150, right? No, I'm sorry, for $100. You could buy a pair of boots for $100 that lasts you 10 years. Or you could buy a boot for $15 that lasts you 1 year, right? Over the next 10 years, you end up spending $150 for boots when you could have spent $100 that lasts you that 10 years. But now you look at it and you say, should I buy the $100 pair of boots or the $15 pair of boots? You understand what I'm saying? If you're thinking about saving money, you might believe that the $15 boots is saving you money, but over a long span of time, you're actually losing money, right? So that's why it's like that's kind of the analogy I'm trying to make. Though it's better to get the sturdy thing, you understand, to get a more safe or more sure thing, or to accomplish this thing the right way the first time, because it can spare you time, energy, and sometimes money.
Your whole kingdom.
Oh, sometimes your whole kingdom. Sometimes your family can be spared. You know what I mean?
Mercy. Yeah, David. And it's funny, like you said, we don't know he didn't know the consequences, how things would have played out, and I sure can't be too sure, but I'm fairly confident that if he knew, like, yo, all this would have happened, man,
he wasn't doing that. Who would do that, bro? Who would do that?
Exactly, because I mean, I gonna save that for whenever we get to that point in the story with Solomon.
Right, even Adam and Eve, bro. Who would do that, bro?
Bro,
who would make that? If you had an informed, if you could have had an informed decision on that, who would choose to eat that, bro? I am good. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and the funny thing about it is, right? Oh boy, I feel a tangent. But it's like they knew. It's like. And that's the next thing the devil gets you, bro. Because like you could think you know what's going to happen, but you can't grasp the severity of what's going to happen.
Because you ain't feel it yet. You know on paper, but you ain't get to experience it,
Hey, when they say like, oh, what's the worst going to happen? We know the knowledge of evil.
Think about that though, bro. Like let's if we could compartmentalize, right? And just focus on that one text. Up until they ate. Who would have thought, bro? Who would have thought, bro? There's only 2 people on the earth right now, right? Who would have thought they would have pestilence and wars and, you know what I mean? Like, kidnapping and all type of crazy stuff. But they couldn't have fathomed that
diseases
until they eat. And now they know the knowledge of good and evil. And now they see potentially all that is at risk right now, You wouldn't know that before.
They was thinking they might have been able to chill in the garden and eating and all. They ain't even know
they just would have been enlightened.
They ain't know they was going to lose stay home.
They thinking it's like when you go to college and you learn a few things, you know what I mean? I'm still the same person, but I learned some more.
They get all that knowledge and the first thing they think about, mother's sick, we got to hide.
We got to run. All that knowledge and the first thing, but I could have come up with that. You see what I said? You didn't need to eat the fruit to come up with that. The first thing they say, boy, I gotta come from around here, boy.
Oh my, but we digressed.
I gotta come from around here.
Look what this woman cost me, dude.
Telling you.
He was like, you were supposed to be watching me.
Yeah, you was around here before me. You know God longer than me. I said, you listen to me? I just come around, bro. You're supposed to know what's going on.
Exactly.
Wait, imagine if Eve was a baby, bro. What type of man you is, bro? You listening to me and a snake? What type of man you is, bro? You see what I'm saying?
Oh, my.
Oh, man.
Woo. So, verse 8. Okay, so we get into interesting parts now. Yes, we get to know the names of some people who were very, very important. So these are the names of the mighty men whom David had. We heard references to these mighty men at different points throughout Samuel, but now we actually getting to know their names. You know what I'm saying?
They're getting some time to shine.
Exactly. So we get Josheb, Bashebeth, the Takamonite.
Okay.
I don't know what a lot of Takam is.
I do not know.
But he was chief among the captains.
Okay.
He was also called Adino. the Esnite. And I'm like, which line you from, bro?
Right. Who would
Which line you from? He had different aliases when he's on the battlefield.
True.
So they call him this because he had killed 800 men at one time.
Okay.
He was trying to impersonate Samson. He read about Samson like 300 years ago, and he was like, I could try to match him.
Yeah, I think I could top that.
And then, so after him was Eleazar, the son of Dodo, the Ahothite. Man, these names. One of the three mighty men with David when they defied the Philistines who were gathered there for battle, and the men of Israel had retreated, he arose and attacked the Philistines until his hand was weary and his hand stuck to the sword. When I read that, I was like confused. I was like, if you tie it, I thought the sword's supposed to unstuck to your hand. Yeah. As in you drop the sword, you're like, I can't fight no more. He had like a reverse reaction. I so tired, I can't let go of the sword.
That's just him, bro. Some people love the game, bro.
Man, just went on autopilot at that point. So the Lord brought a great victory that day, and the people returned after him only to plunder. After him was Shammah, the son of Igi, the Hararite. The Philistines had gathered together into a troop. There was a piece of the ground full of lentils. So the people fled from the Philistines, but he stationed himself in the middle of the field, defended it, and killed the Philistines. So the Lord brought about a great victory. And sometimes be like, okay, so what's the importance of the ground and the lentils? But I never put it together. I ain't gonna lie. And then so now in verse 13, then there were 3 of the 30 chief men went down at a harvest time and came to David in the cave of Adullam. And the troop of Philistines encamped in the valley of Rephaim. David was then in the stronghold, and the garrison of the Philistines was in Bethlehem. And David said with a longing, "Oh, that someone would give me a drink of water from the well of Bethlehem, which is by the gate."
This a flashback.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, this is a flashback.
Okay.
So the 3 mighty men broke through the camp of the Philistines, drew water from the well of Bethlehem that was by the gate, and took it and brought it to David. Nevertheless, he would not drink it and poured it out to the Lord. Kazi, between me and you, if I was one of them mighty men, I'd have been very mad.
I would have been pissed. Like, what you mean you weren't drinking it? You around, you're complaining about being thirsty. Why? Well, what's the point of that? You know what I mean? Because I get you your water.
Not just thirsty. You want water from this particular well.
Real dog.
And he makes sure to say, by the gate. This particular well, by the gate.
And we very much at war. We very much at war right now. So we went to enemy lines, enemy territory to get you your water. And you talking about you don't want to drink it? Mm-hmm. If you don't drink this water, bro. Nah, watch this now. If this was later in David reign, Joab would have been like, I speculate now, but Joab would have been like, "Hey, drink the water. Just drink it now."
David, your men went through all this hassle to get you this water, and now you're acting like ungrateful and not drinking the water? Just drink it to save face.
Yeah, drink it. Just drink it, bro.
Yeah, so where was this? And in verse 17, and he said, "Far be it from me, O Lord, that I should do this. It is not the blood of men who went in jeopardy for this. Is this not the blood? Yeah, is this not the blood of the men who went in jeopardy for their lives? Therefore, he would not drink it." These were the things done by the mighty men.
I was drinking that, bro. They don't risk their lives and they still have their life. You see, they say like if they get killed, that would have been a point there, but I didn't see this being a point, bro. Like, but David was a noble man,
Unless he say like they didn't kill all these Philistines to get this water, and I'll be like,
no, but there was a war, bro.
Like, I'm saying like we killed it for you.
Yeah, bro. Like
you was the one who can't go back in Israel.
Wait, but this was the time, and it was okay.
This had to be the time when he was running from Saul because he was in the cave.
He was running from Saul, but this was in the time. Yeah. So they wasn't really at war with the Philistines. But the Philistines wouldn't have liked David still at the time.
David wasn't a boy yet.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so now Abishai, brother of Joab, the son of Zeruiah, was chief among the three. He lifted his spear against 300 men, killed them, and won a name among these three. Was he not the most honored of the three? Therefore, he became their captain. However, he did not attain to the first three.
Yeah, every time I read this, I was be like, okay, I'm trying to follow. You know what I mean?
So what I get from this is like, okay, because we know Abishai and Joab were still with David in the cave, I think. So I guess he must do something, because like it started off in saying your boy was the captain of them. He was a chief among the captains, the first one, who had two names, Adino or Josheb Bashebeth. He was a chief among them. So I think Abishai got a little older now, got a little bit more feats, and he became the chief of the three.
Okay.
But then it sounded like the three didn't really want him to be their chief, so he wasn't the chief of them three no more. It get kind of a little weird, because they say how he did not attain the first three, so I guess he got a new three. So now we see Benaniah was the son of Jehoiada, the son of a valiant man of Kabzeel, who had done many deeds. He had killed 2 lion-like heroes of Moab, the descendants of Esau. He also had gone down and killed a lion in the midst of a pit on a snowy day. He killed an Egyptian, a spectacular man.
A spectacular man.
The Egyptian had a spear in his hand, so he went down to him with a staff, wrestled the spear out of the Egyptian's hand, and killed him with his own spear. Boy, these people were savages.
Like the Egyptian looks so bad now. That's how everybody got to know him. It was the man who got killed with his own spear.
Boy. So these are the things Benaniah, the son of Jehoiada, did. And he won a name among the three mighty men. He was more honored than the 30, but he did not attain to the first three. And David appointed him over his God. So I'm trying to figure out
the hierarchy.
If it's just, or if I had it wrong in the first time. Like, is it just three mighty men? And there's only like 3 people who can fill these slots? So just because of your feats, you could be good, but you can't attain the 3 mighty men title.
So I thinking, all right.
And granted, we probably should have this figured out before time, but continue.
Yeah. So we talk about the mighty men, right? And then I think this a whole different. I think from verse 13, this a whole like they talk about another 3 people. So they start off with Eleazar and Joshua, Basanat, and whoever else, right? But now they saying, hey, but y'all remember them 3 specific mighty men who to get the water for David? These were these things were done by the 3 mighty men. But I know. He did not attain the first 3. I think I get it backwards now. So right, so I think the 3 mighty men who get the water was the Eleazar, Joshab, and whoever else I said. And now he going on to name some more mighty men, but they wasn't ready for the first 3 mighty men who he named. You know what I mean? Even though they had more honor.
Yeah. Well, what's also interesting to point out too, just because this is just a flashback. You gotta remember, these men who were with David, they were like vagabonds, man.
Right.
They were like people who were in serious debt, people who running away. Like these weren't. So like I'm just trying to like draw the, I guess, parallel. Like they weren't mighty men to begin with. You know what I'm saying? These were people who were like almost castaways in society, who like clung to David as their leader.
Right, because David was in the same boat.
Exactly.
Exile.
And with David, they became mighty men and got all of these feats. And they also supported David because David was nothing without his mighty men as well. So imagine you have a guy on you who you know in a 1 on 1,000 fight, he good for 800.
Oh, yeah. But then guess what? He following a guy who, when he was a little boy or a young man, killed a giant who nobody could have killed. Exactly. So everybody got a rap sheet, bro.
Exactly.
And see, they even going back to Azahel. And Azahel been dead for a long time.
Yeah, boy, the fleet-footed one.
Azahel been dead for 40 years now. Real talk, I ain't even joking, because remember David ran for about 40 years, right?
Yeah.
Azahel died like within them first couple years, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So in the 30-something years, it wasn't full 40.
So in verse 24, to Lubakazi said, Ashahel, the brother of Joab, was one of the 30. Elahan, the son of Dodo of Bethlehem, Shema the Herodite, Elika the Harodite, Eliz the Paltite, Era the son of Ikish the Tekoite. This could be long. Abizar the Yanothite, Mebanai the Hushite. Look at them. They're coming back. Zalman the Ahothite, Marai the Nephalathite, Heleb the son of Bana. Okay, there was like 30 of these people in all, 37 in all.
Right.
go to 2 Samuel 22, 24 to 39. Have a fun time reading these names.
But let me ask you this though.
Mm-hmm.
Are all of these people Israelites?
I don't think so, man.
Right, because
I see like, the face.
Look at chapter 37. Zelek the Ammonite. Boom. That's a noticeable name.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? All of these ites, I'd go on to say most of these, if not all of these, Ittai, the son of Rebah from Gibeah of the children of Benjamin. So there was some Israelites there, but we can see there was a lot of, these wasn't like Israelite vagabonds, bro. See, that's what I didn't know. A lot of these men mighty men who came to fight with David, a lot of them was from other countries.
They was from around Canaan.
Yeah, they was from around, because remember where Bethlehem sit, that right by Philistia. Very close to the Philistines. You know?
Mm-hmm. So that's interesting. That's really interesting. Like, again, these men were like a huge part of David's reign and his success. And they didn't come to him as great men, but like God was able to transform them. And again, to your point, not even just Israelites, other men who were able to come to David and, be transformed through God's help to be like great, mighty men who did great things for God. So, I mean, that's powerful in itself. So do you want to try to tackle 24 or you want to leave 24 for its own?
Honestly, bro, I think 24 need a little bit of cross-examination with Chronicles. You understand?
Hey, down. So yeah, we could leave 24.
Yeah.
And then push come to shove, we could just do a full reflection on the life of David. I mean, even though, kind of to wrap up with Samuel. Bro, we been in Samuel alone. I just think like, just to go back and reflect on Samuel alone, gonna be like from Samuel.
Yeah, that's true. But hold on, bro. We missed somebody, dog.
Oh.
Read verse 20 to verse 39.
39. Oh, my boy.
Read verse 39, bro.
The Hittite, Uriah.
Uriah the Hittite was one of David's 30 men.
37. He's one of the mighty men.
Yeah. Bro, that's a little different now, bro. And I wish I had known this when we was talking about that Bathsheba episode, because this is a little different, bro. This ain't like somebody who you didn't know. This your boy wife, bro. You know him very well, bro. You all have been around you all have been together for a long time. From before your reign.
Bro, and what's so funny too? Like even with that, who also there?
Who? Her daddy?
Yeah.
Yeah, Elhanan. Wait, no, is that him?
Eliam, the son of Ahithophel.
Eliam, yes, Eliam, the son of Ahithophel. Right. Right. So
David's a mean one.
David, a little messy now. You see, we just stumbled on another talking point for a little bit though.
Mm-hmm.
So when I excuse me, and this kind of slipped my mind just now, because when I was mentioning Ahithophel earlier, when Absalom had David on the run, I was saying how it is generally accepted and believed that Ahithophel had a vendetta against David because her granddaughter, Bathsheba, was caught up in all of this mess that David had brought upon them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But let's think about it. We have Eliam, the son of Ahithophel. We know Bathsheba, her father's name was Eliam. We can look this up, And now we have Uriah the Hittite. Bro, everybody right here, bro. Everybody right there, bro. So David ain't. So this is some random person, like you say, bro. If David walking on his roof and he see a woman, that would mean this a house that's close to the king. Ain't everybody can't have that type of real estate, bro. David's mighty men live close to him. And for a piece of reference, we know Uriah the Hittite was a part of his mighty men. You was following David. Excuse me. You was following David when Saul was still alive, bro. You understand? David reigned for 40 years. 40 years, bro. And so at this time in David's reign, he had probably reigned for about probably a couple of decades because his children was grown. He didn't even have children when you all first met. When you were first following him, he had one wife. Michal, he didn't even have children with her yet. So you knew this man for decades, bro. For decades, and that's how you do him. Bro, this run deeper than I thought, bro.
And that's probably even why it was such a big deal in all of Israel too, because it's like, hold on now. This is like one of the main guys you do this to.
David could have never get away with that. If Uriah had caught on and stayed alive, David wouldn't have gotten away with that. And there's no way.
Yeah, that's wild.
And and I see why Joab is act the way he act too. Because you caused me kill my friend, maybe, bro. You understand? So I ain't listening to you no more, bro. You understand? I can see somebody who do you that favor, do you that solid, but now they hold an animosity towards you. Hey, bro. Imagine we was in the trenches together, bro. We was teenagers, maybe. You was in the stronghold. We'll do anything for you, bro. We fight alongside each other, blood, sweat, and tears. We feast together. I was with you when you meet Abigail. I ain't try to talk to your wife, Abigail. You know what I mean? But nah, that's the thing. When David inquired of Bathsheba, and someone say, "Oh yeah, that's your boy, bro. That's Uriah's wife," they would say, "Bring him." You know what I mean? David ain't try to say, "As much as I want this girl, Uriah is my boy." But
yeah, you just let this one go.
Uriah killed for me. This ain't like, bro, imagine like if you have let's say you have like 5,000 man army. You might not know personally all 5,000 of them men. All of them kill for you, obviously. They in your army. This wasn't some Johnny come lately, bro. This man was a part of your close circle of fighters, bro. Wow.
He was part of the inner circle.
Yeah. No. I thought Bathsheba was behind us, behind Earl, but I thought we did not get past that, bro. But yeah, David showed that he was actually a little more.
He was shrewd.
He was shrewd. He's a little more devious than I thought.
He was shrewd.
Oh man.
Thought he would have done this stuff behind the scenes, but yeah, no. And I love how the Bible's like still pointing some of these things out, because like you still like reading this, chapters later, and you're just like, oh, it was bigger than we thought. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, and the evidence right there, but you got to put it together still. You know what I mean? See, now watch this. You see, we just summarized these names, right? Cool, for the sake of time, hold on. If you was to do that in this chapter, you would have missed that point. You would have missed that point, bro. David Snake his own companion. Like, I know what to classify them as because I know what the relationship was like. You never know. David might have never like him. You know what I mean? Just because you're around someone, that don't mean you like them for real.
But still, it's just like, even if I like you for real, but still, like, out of respect for everything I done think about what David even put them through too. Like, when they had to go to a lot of Philistines because of David, when someone like them couldn't go with their families and stuff like that. Like,
some of them wife get take when they go onto the land of the Philistine. You see, they saying they're going to stone David. We've been through so much, but whether you like me or not, that don't mean kill me. That don't mean take my woman. You know what I mean? Like, especially if you was a man of God, like I would expect that from anyone, but you.
Gosh, you saw them people that you like, are you supposed to be Christian?
Yeah. People is pulling out normal.
Are you supposed to be Christian?
But most of it's be so funny because they say it for the most trivial things too, though. You know what I mean? Because they have their understanding of Christianity, and if you don't look that way or act that way, whatever, they quick to throw that to you. But you know, if you following somebody who noble, you know what I'm saying? This man inquiring of the Lord, all type of thing. I would think it's safe to assume that he would not do such a thing. You know what I'm saying? But it's obviously not safe to assume, you know. And so even as they summarize the chronicle of this story, you know, of David, you can't escape all that you do. You see what I'm saying? You can't escape. You forgiven, brother. That's a fact. God has forgiven you, and you are on record saying that you don't know why God has been so good to you or why God kept you here. You understand what I'm saying? And we could see why David was so adamant on being merciful to people when he came back. You feel me? David is the most merciful guy you ever see. You feel me? And let's just show contrast, bro. He wasn't that merciful to, in my opinion, he wasn't that merciful to the Ammonite who claimed to have killed Saul in battle. Even though by his own mouth, he was saying that Saul asked him to. He was just like, no, Lord's anointed, shoot, kill this man. Your own mouth testify against you. You know what I'm saying? But now we have somebody, Shimei, who is assaulting and cursing at the Lord's anointed. And David is like, nobody should die today. You know what I mean? Like, we could see a change, bro. We could see. And David was a man after God's own heart during that time with Saul. But we could see where David is showing even more mercy.
Yeah.
And so even to the end of his life, bro, when he make his last remarks, that's a part of his story. You know what I'm saying? Everything he went through, the good, the bad, and the ugly, they actually are pivotal points in why he is the way he is. You know, why he thinks the way he thinks. And after having experienced that, you know, he could tell us to be merciful. You feel me? He could tell us what happens when you are pure, you know. But then he could also give insight on what happens when you are devious and shrewd, you know. As David's reign comes to an end, we get a record of one of his psalms, as well as his last documented words. But before his story concludes, David does one more thing for the record. He numbers his army. But we'll talk more about that as we conclude the book of 2 Samuel on the next episode of A Breath of Fresh Air. Tonight's episode included voice acting by your host, Nakhaz. Remember to go ahead and research on your own in order to get a more firm understanding of tonight's episode. And if you enjoyed it, make sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. You can follow us on social media at A Breath of Fresh Air Pod on Instagram and BOFAPOD on Twitter. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you next week.